And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Sidereal Confluence. Not Sidereal, Sidereal. That's at least what I've been told. Now, when I saw this, I was like, the name doesn't sound interesting. The box doesn't look interesting. The back of the box didn't look interesting. But I started hearing like whispers of, it's an intriguing game. And I looked on the side and saw that it was a 2-hour game for 4 to 9 players? So, I tested it out. And when I tested it out, I was so intrigued. I was like, this is interesting. Let me try it again with a bigger group of players. Because this is a trading and negotiating game mixed with a heavy style Euro game. That's unique and different. Let me show you how it plays. Now this game is going to be a little bit to explain here. It's not that complex of a game, but the game really revolves around these resources. These bowls, by the way, do not come with the game. There are different resources here, and they all actually mean something. I think like the green is food and life support, white is culture, etc. I'm just going to call them cubes for now, because once the game starts, that's how they're treated. You have 3 different color small cubes. We have the 3 different color large cubes. We have these octagons, and then we have victory points. And as the game goes by, you're going to be dealing with these resources. Now, each of the players is going to get a small shield, which tells you the name of the resources on it. But more importantly, at the top, tells you the equivalent value of these. So 3 small cubes equals around 2 large cubes, which equals a octagon, which equals about a victory point, which equals about 3 ships. Ships are another resource that players have. And so players are going to be trading these back and forth. They're going to be going over several rounds of the game. At the end of the game, victory points is what matters. Everything else is worth victory points, but half of what they normally would be. So for example, you would need 6 of these to get a victory point at the end of the game. So it's all about getting these victory points, so that's like the final resource you're trying to get. Each player is going to pick an alien. Now, these aliens have this whole sheet here, which gives you a few rules for the alien, but this is mostly how to play the alien, not the rules. So there's not a lot of rules necessarily in play for each alien, but it gives you some background and gives you maybe some strategy tips, but then it gives you a few rules that you need to do. At the top of each paper, there is also a difficulty number, so it tells you how difficult it is to play each of them, and they all have extremely different ways that they're going to play. And so you're going to take this sheet, and even though over the course of the game you probably won't refer to it very much, it does kind of give you a start as to what your alien race is trying to do. So here is the starting setup for one of the aliens, the Yen-Ji-Ao race. And I'm just showing you one of the races here just to show you an example of how it plays. Now, you'll get a card that tells you what you're going to start with. So they have 5 starting cards. These cards are marked by stars. You have a whole little deck of cards. And I start with a colony. There's a lot of colonies in the game, so you have a deck of colonies, and so you start with one of those randomly. A research team, so I start with a level 1 technology that I can build. And then a pile of resources that you will start with, which you can see I have here. The game is going to be split up into several phases depending on the number of players in the game. And at the beginning of each phase is really one of the main things, and that's a trading phase. At this point, and you can put a time limit on it if you want, or you can play this till everyone is finished, it is free form trading. Everyone is going to be trading things back and forth. Well, what are you trading and why are you trading? I'll explain that. After the trading phase is over, you're going to be able to run these machines, I guess is the best way to explain them. So this machine here, for example, the innovation of hands, lets me take an octagon and change it for 2 ships. So I can trade in for 2 ships, a yellow cube and a green cube. I would get all those in exchange for an octagon. And if you're wondering what the value of that is, the card itself tells you. You'll notice it says 3 to 4.5 values. So that kind of gives you the exchange rate of that card. So that's a 3 to 4.5. This one here is pretty good. I don't have to turn anything in. This machine itself is just going to give me a blue, a brown cube, and 2 ships. This one here is going to give me, I change in 2 small greens and a yellow, and I'll get 2 ships, a blue, and 2 brown. So you, during the trading phase, can trade the following. You can trade away your cubes, and you can trade away things that you have. You can also trade away your cards themselves. I could give this card to someone else. If someone else has an octagon, I can give them this card. During the trading phase, you can also use abilities that have purple arrows. So you'll notice this has a purple arrow on it here. This shows that if I have a planet with that symbol on it and 2 black cubes, I can get a victory point and flip this card over to the other side. When I flip it over to the other side, the machine becomes better. It's going to give me better things on the other side. So if you have a chance to flip machines over, most of the time you need a specific technology built to flip a machine over. Once you do that, it's going to give you much better things. You'll notice this now goes from 0 to 6.5. So players are going to have to work together and look at all the different things that are happening and take into account the special abilities of each race, which I'll talk about shortly. Players also have technology. This technology doesn't do anything until I build it. This one in particular needs 4 yellow cubes or 2 octagons. It gives you a victory point and a sharing bonus, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then gives me nanotechnology. Each player has a whole deck of cards, and so I will just go through this deck of cards looking at the different and find nanotechnology, and then I have it. Each player has nanotechnology, and each player's nanotechnology is similar, but they might do some different things, and now I have this in front of me. Once you have a technology, you might be able to use that to change something else. So let's say, for example, as time goes by, I get singularity control here, which is pretty good. It lets me change 2 octagons in for a whole pile of stuff. But I can use singularity control to take the work of mules, and I can use that to flip the card. So I get rid of that, and now my work of mules is now a gravitic assembly. So instead of a 3.5 value to 5.5 value, it's now 3.5 to 8.5 value, a much better deal. So you can use technology to upgrade the different cards that you have. Another reason you build technology is because of the technology sharing bonus. The game is going to be made up of several rounds, like I said, and in each round there's going to be a card on the table. So maybe this is turn 2 of a game. There's a sharing bonus. Anytime someone builds a technology at the end of the round, they're going to get the sharing bonus. 6 points. That's a lot of points to get for building a technology. The reason you get those points is because you share it with everyone else. At the end of a round, everyone gets a technology that you've built. And now they can use it too. So as the game goes by, as you get closer and closer to the end of the game, you're going to get fewer and fewer points for building technologies. However, as the game goes by, different technologies are going to be becoming available, and while they cost a lot, 27 brown cubes, it will give you 14 points, which can be a lot of great things. At the end of each round, players are also going to be going through a small bidding phase where they're going to be using ships. The only purpose of ships in the game is to bid with. You'll be doing a blind bidding phase. You'll be bidding for new colonies that will be in a line face up on the table, and you'll also be bidding for the rights to research the different technologies. Now, I mentioned that there are different alien races, and the Yenji are the ones that I'm showing you here. The specialty of the Yenji is when they get technology, they don't have to share it with everyone else. Well, they can't share it. They're selfish, I guess. But they can license their technology as part of a trading deal. So they're going to be trading away technology. The Sidereal Conclave, they're special because they have their own deck of cards that they can build, which can do random things. They don't know what they can do. And they can also trade away these yellow tokens here to other players. And if those players build a tech, the Federans get a point. The Nomads have ships, and these ships are required to run their machines, so they have to build machines and ships, which seems like a disadvantage. But the fact is that their machines then become the best in the game. The Kaleon Plutocracy, they can double outputs of planets. They have tokens they can put in planets to make those planets do better, because these colonies that you get during the action phase are going to just be producing resources, and if you upgrade them, producing better resources as time goes by. The Kajajja Victalim Directive, these guys can build humongous machines, but they have to, destroy a lot of planets to do them. The easiest one to play, these guys come with machines that have 2 parts, and you can upgrade both sides of the parts, and they can also build their own planets, which is neat. The Eniet, they have the best and most machines in the game. They have a lot of machines that let you trade in 2 of something for double that amount. They can double things. But many of these machines, most of the machines, they can't use themselves, so they have to trade them away to other players. The Unity player, they have a wild cubes. So they come with gray cubes in the game, and these can be used to do anything. So they're really neat. And so that's their special ability. They need to trade away these wild cubes. And then the Zeth, which the game kind of, if you notice here at the top, it says the Zeth are challenging to play against and should not be used if the other players are new. They can basically steal from other players. They're like a negative get in the face of other players. I know that I have not given you every rule of the game, and there's a lot going on over the course of this game, but the rules are really not that complex. There's a trading phase each round. You will then run all your machines. Then there's a bidding phase to get new technologies and new things, a sharing phase, and you share your technology, and then you clean up and start another round. And at the end of the last round, you add up your points, and whoever has the most is the winner. Okay, so the game is really about cubes. Like I said, we got power, electrical, biotechnology, information industry, ultra tech, whatever. It is just a pile of cubes. And so the components for the game, cube-wise and stuff, they're okay. I really wish they all had different shapes and things. That would have been a lot more fun to trade. I think would have added more to the theme. The cards themselves, as we take a look at the different cards that come with the game, they're okay. It has kind of a nice space theme to it, but they're really generic when you look at these cards. And the names and stuff. Really, the best component of the game is these initial player sheets. These are invaluable because they tell you how to play each of the races, and they give you ideas and things. And that's a really cool, aspect to the game. In fact, the Sidereal Conclave has that deck of cards, while on the back they explain what all the cards do. So you can get into the theme of this game. That's really the best thing. Other than that, I honestly wouldn't play this game on basis of its components. I already mentioned, not a big fan of this box cover and name. That doesn't do anything for me. But the components, while they're not fantastic, well, let's forget talking about them for a moment. Let's talk about the gameplay. I did not know what to think of this game after my first playthrough. I really didn't. And so far, the highest count I've played with has been 7 players. And what an experience that was. It's something that I would love to do, maybe at a convention and all, and it took a little over 2 hours, but felt so intense as you're going through. See, there's so many things to like about this game, so I'll start with the things I don't. I thought the components were I thought the theme was whatever. Everyone's getting together and you're trying to form a confluence and you're all being peaceful, but you want to be first among equals or something. Whatever. It's just a thinly excuse for trading. But wow, okay, forget that. So let's go to the things I love. Asymmetrical. Wow. Every alien plays different. Now, I refuse to play with the guys who attack other people. I was told by one of the people from WizKids, they're really fun, but the rules are like, don't play with this if people don't like to, get their stuff stolen. Okay, that's good enough. Maybe we won't. But wow, which of the races is my favorite? I don't know. I like the guys who have these machines, which are really powerful, but they have to trade them other people. You have to be kind of a really in-your-face trader. I like the guy who has wild cubes because everybody wants your stuff. It's easy to trade with other people, but your stuff is not as good as everyone else. I like the ships connecting. I like the guy with the 2 sides. I like the guy who doesn't share his technologies, but you're licensing them out. It's really neat every time I play this. But here's the thing. Because they play so differently, I would imagine a couple players told me, they said, if we played this again, I would want to play the same guy because I'm learning how to play this. The game is not complex. It really isn't. It's just, give me that, I'll give you this. Give me that, I'll give you this. Do that, do that, do that. Blind bid. It's not hard, but knowing what you should trade to people. And the more people around the table, I'm standing up and coming over here and saying, oh, I want this card, I'll take that. And you over there, I'll do this. No, don't trade with him, I'll give you this. And there's so much opportunity here. It's so cool. But at the same time, it's pretty cerebral. Because you need to know that you want to make sure you're getting your value worth of everything. If I give you a small brown cube for a small green cube, that's easy, right? If I give you a large yellow for a large blue, that's easy. Unless I see that you have a machine that you need the large yellow for and it's going to give you a lot. So maybe it's not as easy. Or if you want one of my machines, well, what's the value of that machine? I want to trade you ships. Ships are good for bidding. How much is bidding as the time goes by? What about a planet? You want a planet? When you trade a machine to somebody else, you get it back at the end of your turn. You give someone a planet, it never comes back. So is that worth it? What about that guy who trades you chips that are worth possible points to him at the end of the game? Well, that doesn't hurt me to take one of those, but I'm essentially giving him a victory point, unless I never discover technology. Or he might have a card that gives him a victory point if he has it. Oh, there's so much going on and so much to think about. And so really, teaching the game is not that hard. I can probably teach the game in 20 minutes or less than that, 10 minutes probably. But then I would say, okay, now we're going to talk for a little bit, 5-10 minutes about each person's, not maybe just 5 minutes, but about each person's special ability. And even if you learn about them at the beginning, you're like, oh, that's what you do. How do I work with you? How do I stop you from winning?
The whole game is about getting victory points. And you can get so caught up and at the end be like, look at this huge amount of cubes I have. But you didn't actually get the victory points, which is what you need to do to win the game. The board is cluttered. This huge table I have here would be completely filled with 5 players. Maybe 4. 4 would easily, 3 could do it. By the way, the box says 4 to 9, but then the rules inside and the cards certainly lead me to believe it could be played with 3. In fact, I did try a test run with 3, and it seemed okay. There wasn't as many options to trade. I like it. I really do. I like the whole, it's like Pit. You know, Pit, where you're like, 2, 2, 2. It's that same thing, but on a much bigger scale. And I like that the game is like, listen, this is how much everything is worth for the most part. That's really helpful. I played the guys who trade, licensed technology. I just give you a technology. And the game said, that's worth about 2 cubes. Oh, well, that's super helpful to me to know that information. So the game is really useful. There are other games like Traders of Genoa and things where you can trade anything for anything. But you're never really quite sure, am I like, did I just trade Park Place for Mediterranean Avenue? I don't know. Did I make a mistake? Here, you probably won't make such dreadful mistakes because the game helps you out in that regard. But that being said, there's like, you're going through cards, you're looking at technologies, you're doing this. The game says maybe a 10-minute time limit to negotiations. And if you have someone in your group who takes a long time, you probably want to put that in place just for that person. I found that the games I played so far, we've been able to just say, all right, I'm done trading and everyone's done trading. But woof, what a rush. Wasn't bored 1 second playing this game. I'm not going to be able to play it everywhere, right? This is a game that needs a lot of table space, needs a lot of players, needs people who are outgoing and wanting to trade with each other. But when I find them, it is a fantastic, fun game. Sidereal Confluence. Don't be fooled by this box cover. There's a really cool game inside.
Dice Tower Judgment, uniquely excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!